Nicole Puckett and I, my good buddy and I decided to start doing these videos. We had the idea of doing this because we said what are the issues that we see mostly in our clients throughout the day, some of the more common issues that we deal with and how we go about treating them. So we decided to get together and do these head-to-head sessions where we go back and forth saying what we find, what we do, and how we treat certain issues. Nicole's been on hiatus for the past couple of weeks. She'll be back real soon. I know you guys are missing her. But yeah, she's my buddy, my go-to for exchanging ideas on different ailments and different issues. One of the most common things that we see, there's a long list of common issues and injuries that we see throughout the day, but one of the more common is going to be frozen shoulder. And I think a lot of people have heard of frozen shoulder or seen frozen shoulder. A lot of people have experienced it. Frozen shoulder basically can be summed up as adhesive capsulitis. It's basically a loss of range of motion with extensive pain when raising the arm out to the side or any position away from the body. The trick with frozen shoulder, and what I find mostly, is that people will often have soreness in their shoulder, and the mind kicks in and says, you know what, since this hurts, let's stop using it, let it rest for a couple of days and see if it gets better. That is the kiss of death with frozen shoulder. Once you stop moving that shoulder, once that shoulder loses mobility and range of motion, and we start babying that shoulder, the shoulder has a tendency to tighten up, the muscles have a tendency to get tighter, and it will freeze, and you've lost complete range of motion. You can see this in some people when they can't abduct their arm away from their body. They start to bring it out to the side, and they get it right about here, and their trapezius kicks in, and they start using their shoulder to lift the arm, and not the arm, not the humerus itself. There's three phases to frozen shoulder. The first phase is what I call the pre-freezing phase, and that's where you start to have soreness in the shoulder. You're not quite sure what's going on. You've got a limited range of motion issue. It's still working fine, but it's just sore when you're lifting the arm up or above, away from the body. So that's the point when you need to start watching that. Find out what's going on. There's some muscular imbalances in there. Unless there was a trauma to the shoulder, there's usually muscular imbalances that are causing the shoulder not to work properly. That pre-freezing phase is the most important time to get that shoulder worked on. At this point, you've probably had the pain for about 1 to 3 months. You've sort of watched it to see if it was going to get worse or if it was going to get better. You kind of baby the shoulder just a little bit, stop doing some of the activities that you enjoy doing. That is the wrong way to go. Stay on top of it, keep that shoulder moving. You don't want to go into the next 2 phases of frozen shoulder. The second phase is going to be the freezing phase. At this point, you've probably had pain in the shoulder for about 3 to 9 months. You've actually lost some range of motion. The shoulder has a greater soreness in it, and the soreness is probably worse at night, but that's when the point where the actual muscle starts to tighten up and the range of motion is completely starting to deteriorate at this time. This is the second phase, the freezing phase, and the pain usually lasts for about 3 months. The third phase is the frozen phase. That's when the shoulder actually freezes, sticks together, and you've lost range of motion. The pain is that intense. Moving the arm has become such a chore that we stop using it, and the shoulder actually locks up. The shoulder, being a hypermobile joint, should move in so many different directions with ease of pain and no limits on range of motion. But at the third phase, the frozen phase, is when you see clients that come in that can barely move their arm away from their body and they've got this grimace on their face. This is the point of where we have to take the therapy and take it to the next level. We've got to get extremely aggressive with it. True frozen shoulder beyond this phase could take up to 2 years to rehab. So what I'm going to do now is show you 3 simple exercises you can do at home without the assistance of bands or cables. And these exercises, or actually stretches, will help diminish the possibility of you developing frozen shoulder. The first one I want to show you, and possibly the most important one you can do, is forward arm swings. If you don't have frozen shoulder and you want to prevent ever getting frozen shoulder, forward arm swings are quite possibly one of the best movements you can do on a continuous basis, extremely easy, that'll help prevent you from ever experiencing frozen shoulder. Healthy shoulders, shoulders that aren't causing too much pain. If you haven't lost range of motion, then let's go ahead and do this. If you are experiencing soreness in the shoulders, I want you to go slow, very gradual, okay? Make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself while doing this motion. First step, I want you to go ahead, place one foot in front of the other, okay? I don't want your feet side by side. Your feet are side by side, you run the possibility of arching your back when doing this motion. We don't want to arch the back when doing this. We want to keep your back nice and straight because our focus is going to be on the shoulders. So one foot in front of the other, whichever foot you want to choose, you're more than welcome to do that, okay? The next step is point your thumbs nice and straight forward, arms extended down. I want the thumbs to stay forward at all times, and all I want you to do is just bring your arms up above your head here, and then bring them back down. And this is the entire movement right here. Basically, this is it. Nothing strenuous, nothing hard. It's just an easy forward arm swing. Keeping that one foot in front of the other, back stays nice and tight, nice and straight, and we're just basically swinging our arms up above our head, lengthening out the lats, stretching out the shoulder, increasing that range of motion and mobility in the shoulder. If you don't have frozen shoulder, you don't want frozen shoulder, forward arm swings are one of the best exercises and stretches to do on a regular basis to help you prevent yourself from developing. The next stretch is going to be a stretch I want to call an elbow wall slide. There's a lot of moving parts to this one. It's a beginner stretch, of course. We're going to stretch the lats, open up the shoulder, get the rotator cuff to open up as well. There's a few moving parts to this one, but it's a really good stretch. I want you to do it at home. You can use a wall or a door jamb. A door jamb would be perfect. I'm going to use my trusty squat rack. It comes in for so many uses. I love this thing. Basically what we're going to do is I want you to come into a wall, find a nice flat surface. Place your elbow, the arm we're going to stretch out, okay? Just rest your elbow on that wall, that flat surface. Take your hand and place it behind your head. Your hand on the stretching arm is going to stay in this position right here. Get into a lunging position in towards the wall, okay? Because we're going to be pulling ourselves towards the wall or the door jamb. Take your other hand, try to get some traction on the surface that you're pulling into. In one motion, I want you to slide that elbow up as high as you possibly can and pull your body towards the surface that we're sliding on, the wall. In this case, our trusty squat rack. We're going to lunge back, bring that elbow down. We're sliding the elbow along the wall, stretching out that lat on the side, getting it nice and flat the best we possibly can. Pulling ourselves with our extended arm, bring that back down. Slide in again. Open it up, trying to get that armpit towards the flat surface, okay? Stretching out, keeping the hand stretching behind the back there. And we'll just keep doing this motion. Let's do 5 reps here. Open it up, pull the body towards the flat surface, and then back up again. And then one more time, we're going to slide that elbow. Don't put too much pressure on the elbow. We're not trying to smash the elbow or make a hole into the wall. We're just trying to stretch out the lats, okay? Do a set of 5, and then we'll switch sides. The next stretch is going to be a real simple one. It's just a basic, simple hanging stretch. All we're doing is we're taking the arms, we're stretching them out, lengthening the whole body, pulling out the lats, letting them open up and stretch out. All I want you to do is I want you to find an overhead hanging surface. A door jamb if you have it, or a squat rack if you have it. If you don't have these items, we can definitely do some variations to get you to the same end result. Go ahead and place your hands shoulder width apart. I want you to pronate your hands away from you. Don't supinate them. I don't want you pulling them this way, because if you're doing a pull-up or supination hang, you're actually using more of your biceps than you are stretching out the arms. So I want your hands facing away from you in pronation, a little bit shoulder width apart. Go ahead and take your feet, bring them about a foot forward. Let them hang there just for a few seconds. Then I want you to take your left leg, go ahead and drape it right behind you. Just bring that left leg, you're putting most of your support on your forward leg. Let your body dangle, let the arms hang away from your body. Bring your feet back together. Go ahead and take your right leg, just drape it behind you and let that leg just drop behind you. We're getting the obliques, getting the abs, getting the lats, getting the shoulders to open up, and all we're doing is hanging on with our arms, with our shoulders, okay? So this is a good exercise to do for opening up the shoulders, just a complete hang. Once again, hands pronated away from you, not supinated. Let the body hang. What you want, what you want. Come on. What you want, what you want. Come on.